Hey guys, in today's video, I would simply like to go over this particular sneak peek and who this weird man could be. So I just won't waste any more time and I'll get right into it. The reason I wanted to talk about this specific man is that nothing about him makes any sense. Now, what do I mean by this? So to start, from what we know, the Vow of Iron is probably going to be set in the past, and our characters are going to be set builds based on warriors from the past. With that, and judging by the man's vigil outfit, white Deepwoken cloak, and the train race, we can assume he was one of the many maestros of the Isle of Vigils that came before Everngard rest of the day. But this does not make any sense, because the man is also clearly affiliated with the Authority faction, which is at war with the Kingdom of Atreia. We know this because he has the Warmaster Oath cosmetic, which we know is an Authority oath, and also Warden Jericho took this oath, a notorious warden who you can meet in Fort Merit. At first, I thought since the Vow of Iron game mode is set in the past, it's possible that this was during times when the Kingdom of Atreia and the Authority were allied, because we know from the journal of Warden Jericho that he feels sympathy and is sorry for the people of Etris, because as he describes in the journal, the war is something beyond their understanding, and he also calls out the Lord Regent to be a thing rather than a person. This implies that the Authority is only trying to raid the city of Etris to defeat the Lord Regent, also known as Zaire, an evil ministry prophet who took rule of Etris. But then I realized this can't possibly be true, because the Authority and Atreia would have beef regardless of the Lord Regent. This is because the Authority views anyone but themselves as enemies. They believe that the only way to save the world from drowning is to be one united force. So it really didn't matter whether it was before or after Regent's reign. This Warmaster, logically, would still be considered an enemy of Atreia. My second thought was that he's some kind of Authority spy who went to the Isle of Vigils to gather some kind of info. But that also doesn't really make sense because he himself is an Atreian, and also surely somebody would have eventually noticed the crown that he has from his oath. We also know he's been there for quite a while because low tier thugs don't wear Deepwoken cloaks. We can see from Everngard and Stratos that only high ranking members wear those cloaks, so he's definitely a somewhat high rank there. It's possible that he's some kind of deserter, but in that case, why would he stay on the Isle of Vigils? We can clearly see the walls of the sparring hall in the sneak peek. And if he originally came from the Authority and became a Vigil swordsman, I would imagine his Warmaster oath would break. We don't have much lore on oath breaking, but I would imagine that when you go against your sworn duty and side with an enemy faction, you would be breaking your oath. We know that going against your oath has severe consequences, which we even get to see in the game for ourselves. For example, when a Star Kindred loses their faith in the Celestials and their holy Ichor, they turn into Muldjurors, grotesque hollow shells of the Star Kindred. We can even encounter those heretics for ourselves in the ancient Rotlands, and if you're a Star Kindred, you can even speak to Samael, and he will tell you a little bit about them. This kind of stuff, of course, cannot happen to players, because randomly losing your oath over some faction rep would suck balls. That's also why I think Yanshul being the one who breaks your oath for you in-game is really just a game design choice that isn't reflected in the lore to make oath breaking a voluntary feature and not a pain in the ass. Even then, going against your oath in the game has some rare consequences. For example, if you're a contractor and you speak to the Lord Regent before completing your assigned task, he will kill you. And many oaths cannot be reobtained when you break them at Yanshul. But this guy, from what it looks like, he seems to be siding with Atreia, whilst also keeping his oath as a War Master. So yeah, for now, nothing makes sense, and there is no explanation for who this man could be. But for now, those are my theories, and that's all I have. Hopefully we will get some answers when the Vow of Iron drops on the 29th, and hopefully there won't be some kind of bullshit retconning. If you have any theories, please share them below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support from each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.